Now we're going to talk about one particular type of probability that occurs. All right. So let's look at our example. Say we toss a die 10 times. All right. What would be the complement, okay, of the event A, at least one toss is a 6? All right. So, okay, now we're talking, it's like we're going to talk about not at least 1 6. All right. So what does this mean? So if there's not even at least one, then how many are 6s? If I had 1, that would be at least 1. If I had 2, that would be at least 1. Okay. The only thing that is not in the event at least 1 6. By the way, that's what a complement is. Every outcome that's not in it is 0. 0 is not at least 1. 1 time at least 1. 2 times at least 1. All right. So this is going to be that there are no 6s. All right. So the complement of at least one of any E is that none are E. So none of the trials are E. Another way we can write this, at least one E, that event, and then take the complement of it, is this event, none are E. All right, so does anybody recall the complement rule? The probability of not E or E complement, how do we get that? All right, so the E complement is every other outcome. So if the probability of E is 0.3, the probability of not E is 0.7. So it's everything that's not an E. So that's going to be 1 minus the probability of E. All right, and we're going to use these ideas to derive the probability of at least one E. All right, so if E is an event, and we have n trials where E could occur in each of those trials. And I'm going to call the probability of E little p for every trial. Then the probability of at least one E, all right, by the complement rule, all right? So at least one E is not no E's, all right? So this is going to be 1 minus the complement of this guy. So the 1 minus, let's just write that, the probability of at least one E complement. All right. Well, at least one complement is none. All right. So this is 1 minus the probability that none of the trials are E. All right. And this, I guess this one is by the complement rule. Well, this is by the complement rule. This is just saying, what is the complement of this event? Okay. So none of the trials are E. So what does that mean for each trial? So the first one, the first trial is not going to be an E or E complement. And the second one is going to be not E. And the last one is going to be not E. All right, so I'm going to have N of these not E's. All right. Now these are independent. So since they're independent trials, I can get the probability of this and this and this by multiplying the probability of this times this times this. And this is by, and I'm going to call it MR. This is the multiplication rule for independent events. And INDP is my abbreviation for independent, but MR is definitely the abbreviation for multiplication rule. All right, so now I got the probability of not E is 1 minus the probability of E. And then we have N of them, okay? So this is going to be, all right, so this is not E. So then probability of not E is 1 minus the probability of E. So I have 1 minus the probability of E times 1 minus the probability of E times 1 minus the probability of E, and so I'm going to have that to the N power. And that is my answer here. All right, so I'm going to have 1 minus twice. I have 1 here. Oh, and this, I used the complement rule twice. Oh, yeah, because this one, so this equals 1 minus probability of E, also by the complement rule. So I use the complement rule twice, so I have 1 minus twice. I have 1 right here, and I have 1 right here.